Hi and welcome to WoW Flash. This is my weekly series where I look at the news and anything to do with Warcraft from the past 7 days. So this is going to be a fairly short one, not because there isn't a lot of news, because there's been a lot of news. It's just that most of the news has been so momentous, it's warranted its own or maybe several videos all of its own. And this will be no different, but I'll go through the main points of interest from this week. So we start off, of course, this time last week, I think I was able to report that one guild, Method, had killed Mythic Hellier. So the race was over for them after a couple of days. Then it went up to 2, and then it went up to 5. Then it went back down to 2, which is where it remains now. So, of course, the reason it went up to 5 and then down to 2 again is because 3 guilds were deemed to have exploited. Now, on the issue of exploit, I've covered it slightly in a video already this week, and I'm going to talk more in depth about the concept of exploiting, because I think it's worth exploring now in a video that I'm going to do after this, and which should also be uploaded tonight. So, then it sort of begs the question, so 2 guilds killed it within a few days. What's happening to the rest? Is it really that Method and Serenity are so far out there? I don't know. You have to ask yourself, what I mean, okay, it's a tough boss. We get that. Blizzard didn't want the situation where, just like with Mythic Xavius, that this boss was a pushover. It's clearly not, is it? I think a lot of people, particularly like myself, who would expect to kill Mythic Hellier before Nighthold comes out, are looking at the race and going, ooh, it's going to be interesting when we get to it, which we'll be hoping to get to it fairly soon. But is it that it's so tough? Or is it because of the bug that if you take advantage of it is an exploit? But is it the fact that if you don't take advantage of it, or in other words, if you don't carry out what seems to be a perfectly plausible tactic, but you can't because of the bug, and that makes it more difficult? I'm not sure. I mean, 2 guilds have killed it without doing that. Really, and Method have published their video on it now. You can actually see how they've done it. Isn't it strange that no guilds have done it since? I'm not sure what's going on there. Be interesting to see who the next few are to kill it. So in terms of other things, now Blizzard Entertainment, we've had a notice here, says is seeking an experienced engine engineer to work on a robust first-person engine for an unannounced project. Ooh, new game. This isn't an expansion or anything like this. This is a new engine they're wanting to create for something. A first-person engine. This is curious, isn't it? I wonder what this is about. So this is, of course, something for which there will now be a lot of speculation running. Blizzard are working on something new. It's a first-person game, whatever it happens to be. It's obviously not going to be anything like Overwatch, because Overwatch already exists. So what could it be? Requiring a new engine, so it is a completely new game. So that's potentially of interest. The other thing they've been doing is, because there's going to be a lot of class and spec changes coming in patch 7.1.5, I think Blizzard are making an effort, which is to be applauded, of course, to try and explain their design philosophies. Yes, I would prefer they went a little bit further and properly discussed them, but they are posting stuff up there and they are answering some people's queries. So far, there's 6 specs where they've sort of explained their rationale for the changes coming, and hopefully more will come over the course of the next few weeks, because, of course, you might expect that patch to go live, I would say January, because there's obviously got a lot of changes coming into it. There's no point in bringing the patch out after Nighthold. They'd sort of want to bring it out before or around about the same time as Nighthold. They can't obviously bring it out over Christmas. As soon as Christmas rears its ugly head, then there's not as many staff going to be there, people taking time off. So it'll have to be January, which means over the next few weeks they need to be explaining things. It's no good explaining everything just before Christmas and then see ya, bye, no time for discussion. Another thing, which again might be, well, was made slightly controversial by Exorcist, which is one of the guilds that was banned for exploiting Mythic Hellier, is Blizzard have announced that there are going to be Mythic Keystone leaderboards, or in fact there actually are, on the WoW site. So you can sort of it makes it a bit more competitive. You can sort of track your progress, a bit like with the old challenge modes, in terms of times that people are managing in these Mythic Plus dungeons and the maximum levels they're able to achieve. And there was an important point raised by Exorcist, and certainly an interesting one, whether you think it's important or not, I would say, in that World of Warcraft, if you see on the official WoW website, you've got information with leaderboards now with Mythic Plus dungeons, pet battles, PvP, like, arenas, things like that. So there's active promotion and celebration of all those things in the game. But there's nothing on raiding, is there? If you think about it, where do we go for information on the raid racing and the raid progress? We go to WoW Progress, a third-party site, not run by Blizzard. And Exorcist noted this and actually had some ideas, I think more aimed at the top end, to try and get more people into hardcore raiding. Can't even say things. Hardcore raiding, which may be of interest, but it is worth thinking about, isn't it? That it's a PvE game. There's PvP in it, but when you look at some games, MMOs in particular, sort of looking, it's got, well, that was much more of a PvP leaning, and this one's much more of a PvE leaning, and both games will have both features in them, but there's always more one than the other. And World of Warcraft has always been mostly a PvE game. The PvP was always an afterthought. It's never been great. So why would it be then that their premier content, the raid content, is not more actively promoted and celebrated? Why do we go to WoW Progress for information on raiders? Why isn't it on the... if you think about it, if you're going to another site for information to do with World of Warcraft, it's because Blizzard themselves aren't providing it. Okay, with some types of information, that's fine, going to a fan site. But with some stuff, you'd think, well, why isn't it on the Blizzard website? And finally, Blizzard have asked for some specific feedback. This is in the form of a community manager via Twitter who has got, Muffinus, or Jeremy Fiesel, has asked for some feedback. I'll put a link in the description below. It's something I didn't expect Blizzard to ask our opinion on. It's just something that's been in the game, and maybe some people like it and maybe they don't. But the fact that they're actively asking for our feedback on this is not as a result of someone starting a very popular thread about it. Means that Blizzard have thought about it and are interested in our views, with a view to either changing it or keeping it the same. And it's really important, I feel, that everyone puts their views in, because this is something that can affect the future of the game. So what they've asked for is, when you use the selfie camera, do you want the arm in the shot or not? At the moment it is. Do you like that? Does it get in your way? I find it quite jarring. Not because of the arm, I have to say, but because of the shoulder plates, especially plate wearers, they look a bit funny from the underside. I know you can hide shoulders, but, spur of the moment, taking a selfie, not likely to do that. So I personally, I get rid of the arm. Yeah, we can do that. Just have the face and whatever's in the background. That sounds great to me. But, you have your own view. By all means, post your response there, because it's very important when they ask for feedback, especially on such serious issues, that we provide it. But anyway, that's the news for this week, apart from the stuff I want to talk about in real great detail, and that's going to include the very next video is going to be on exploiting, or a discussion on what exploiting even is. But if you've enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe and share. Until next time, I'll see you later.